there, kids. Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. Welcome to Friday night's stream. The weekend is here. Everyone rejoice, right? Everyone rejoice. We're happy about this. I'm happy about this. It's the weekend. It's the time that I can focus and get shit done, right? Amber's off to her orientation for college tomorrow. So she's doing that. She's with her mom tonight and tomorrow. And yeah, basically bachelor weekend, kind of. So kind of loving life right now. Pretty good stuff. But yeah. So get shit done. That's the focus for this weekend. Get shit done. So if you missed today's live stream, we basically just kind of tied up some loose ends, finished the flappy part on the shoulder, and then also completed the other inner leg armor for the Shiki here. Duplicated that. Looks real good. And there's just one other thing that we got to do on that, and then we can kind of move on. And then basically the lower leg armor is pretty much completed at that point. So we're going to start on that here first. If I can get the little metal thingy out here. Put that off to the side. Don't lose that. And then we're going to move on. After that's done, then we're going to move on to some other fun stuff here that I kind of had thought about a little bit earlier today. So, question of the day. What hobby challenge do you think is harder than people realize? So, something to think about. Throw up your answers in the chat there, yeah? All right, but let's get to work. Let's go Super Zoom first. All right, and let's get this in frame. There we are. There we are. All right, good. So, like I said, we got... Where's the other one here? We got these two matched up here, looking good. And that's basically the gist of the heavy modifications, right? Just this one strip, that circular recess in there for the little metal bit, and that's it. We're keeping it simple. I don't want to go, crazy with this piece because we went crazy with, the other side, right? So we're going to keep this side simple, very straightforward. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So with this, the only thing left we have to do is to get this, rim scribe panel line around the opening for those little forks, right? Where is it here? I'll show you what I mean here in a second. Let me get this back on here. So for that, right? Because the other side has, a similar panel line. So I think that mirroring those on both sides looks really, really good. So we'll get to doing that here first, and then we'll move on to some other things. I was working here a couple hours before the stream on some things. So yeah, we'll take a look at that here in a moment. But let's get some tape. This is all cut to 1.5 millimeter. Straightforward. All right, so let's get a few strips of this cut as I start to drop things. Are we surprised? No. Not in the slightest. Okay, so let's see. What are we gonna need? Maybe about there for the first piece. And then Probably about there for the top. And then we'll just go ahead and cut this right in half for the other two angles there. All right. Good deal. All right, let's start laying some tape, getting this template made. Just like that. There we go. All right. All right, so we just want to lay that right at the edge. Jesus. Can't hold on to these pieces to save my life. Put a leash on this thing. All right. That's probably my answer for question of the day. What's the, what's the hardest thing, that people don't realize? Well, holding on to parts, kids. Holding on to parts. That's the hardest thing for me. All right, got the top and the bottom done. Let's get these sides done. We'll get everything cut to fit. We'll get this line scribed in, and we'll get this part shipped and done. And then that will, once we get this done, this will essentially finish the lower leg armor completely at that point. So that'll be nice. I'm gonna go right there. And that will form, that'll form that upper corner there, so I don't have to really cut that at all. So that will be nice and convenient there. All right. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. We'll just put this, kind of crisscross this right down onto this corner here. Go. Alright, jolly good. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to obviously cut off this excess. So we're just going to quickly we're going to cut this about right there. Alright. That little piece of tape off of there. And then what we'll do is we'll follow this line of this piece of tape, align our knife, and there we go. Now we have a good template with hard corners that we can scribe around, right? So that looking pretty nice. Now, one thing that I do need to go back and look at is this corner here and make sure that we're good to go. I might have to take off just a little bit. Yeah, just that little corner there, because it was protruding a little bit too much into the empty space. So that would have been a bad corner if we were to keep that. So, all right. So there is our finalized template for that rim panel line around this opening and everything, right? So now we just got to scribe it in. Let me... Yeah, that shifted a little bit, so we need to shift this back up just a tad. Especially the front edge there. All right, that'll work. That will work. All right, so now let's set our lines in here. Real gentle like. There we go. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the top here. Real gentle pressure, just setting your edges and everything. And then once you get the line set in there, then you can really kind of start to add a little pressure and start to get the line to the depth that you want it. There we go. Yeah, very good, very good. All right. All right. Very good. All right, let's start connecting. This line's looking good. All right. Now, you need to be real careful with these thinner pieces of tape because they will migrate and move on you. So setting your edge with these lines is even more important. Take it from the other side here because I just want these to match up. All right, cool. So we've got our lines set and partially to depth. Let's get this tape off of here and kind of see what we've got. See what we're working with here. Let's get all this thrown away. There we go. All right. So now... Yeah. Cool. Okay, that looks really good. That looks good. We're gonna just fix one thing right here. So it looks like that line went around the
corner, oddly. There we go. Alright, so now we just got to get these lines to proper depth, clean up the corners, and then this part is done. And once we get this done, we'll get caught up in the chat. Alright, we're looking pretty good. Just trying to focus on this particular corner right here, because that's going to be obviously the most prominent, you know, connection that everybody is going to see. So I want to make sure that's nice and sharp. Good. That's looking good. Alright, so let's chisel discipline and let's sand this down a little bit so we can kind of see it a little bit better and check our work, yeah? Yeah. All right, cool. So let's get this on to the actual piece. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. Yeah. And that matches up the other one there. I'll go back, maybe put in, probably put in some of the little notches and everything like that, but I won't do that right this second. So, but that looks good. That looks good. I like that. I like that. That will serve. All right. Good deal. What's up with this? YouTube's being weird. What's up with that? I don't know. The YouTube panel here on OBS is being freaking odd. Anyway, all right. So with that being said, let's get caught up in the chat, shall we? Let's go back to camera roll 1. Let's see. What do we have here? So yeah, question of the day: what hobby challenge do you think is harder than people realize? Andrew was the first to jump in there. He says, for me, it was getting a kit done for a competition because I would lose track of time and rush to finish up the last minute. Yeah, dude, been there, done that. More times than I can count. Yeah, more times than I can count. Mr. Gumpley Uruguay, Javier, what's going on? He says, evening, buds. Good to see you, buddy. Matt Havoc is with us here. Mecha Coffee Joe, he says, evening, Space Noise. What's going on, Joe? Now, that's a name I've seen on, George's live stream, Old School Gunpla. Yeah. So, man, you guys are coming in and invading. Mind you, I dig it. I like it. So, welcome, guys. George is awesome. Love George to fucking death, man. I try to watch his stream whenever I'm still awake. Not Because I don't wake up early. I will tell you that. I don't wake up early, especially being unemployed. Nah, I don't do early. I stay up late. So sometimes I will still be up working when George is streaming. So yeah. So everybody that came over from George's stream, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Matt Havoc says, finally got more of my tools in today in a 144 high-grade Zaku Warrior. Nice, dude. Nice. Tools are always fun. We got to do a tool stream. Because I know, Zaku 186 on today's earlier stream had mentioned, wanting to see more kind of the tools, right? And I was giving that thought. I was giving that a lot of thought. And I was thinking about doing it tonight, but then I kind of want to put it out there a little bit more than just being like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about tools tonight, So if people that don't normally watch the stream, can get some good information and stuff like that. So I might do that next week. So, but yeah, we'll definitely do a tool specific stream, and we'll go through everything. Like, I will literally empty these tool drawers and show you, the stuff that I work with. Ooh, wait a minute. Sorry. So, like I said, I inherited a lot of different bits and bobs and tools and stuff from a gentleman who, kind of sold me a few different kits and tools and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you, when I was organizing everything, I kind of just threw, everything into the drawers just to get them organized. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, what shit, I didn't know I had these. So just real quick, just for funsies. Camera 2. And yeah, we're talking a little tool time here, but so these are let me take them out of the thing so you can kind of see them better. These are rotary bits, burrs, technically, and these are all different sized ball bits, right? So let's actually go super zoom so you can see these a little bit better. So yeah, so you got a bunch of different sized bits here, right? And these are really, really useful, especially when you have a circular detail that you want to chamfer, right? So for instance, we'll just use this scrap piece as an example, right? So say you have this circular detail in here that you want to chamfer the inside, right? Well, you take one of these bits, and it makes really quick work of that, right? So just a simple ball right in there, and then there you go. This one right there, you can kind of see the edge. And let me do that a little bit more, kind of exaggerated here so you can see it a lot better. Yeah, so you can see that edge in there, right? That contrast. And that just is really, really good. Now, obviously, you don't ever want to go down that far. This is simply just for chamfering very lightly. And that's basically all that I would do right there. See that little highlight? That's essentially what you want, right? Maybe just a couple more twists, but that would Yeah, that's a little bit better. So,
yeah. That's, I just noticed these and I'm like, oh, I could use those. So, sorry. I got caught up in the moment. I mean, look at this little, that's like a 1 mil. Yeah, 1.0 millimeter. So, yeah. These definitely come in handy in the right circumstances. Definitely come in handy in the right circumstances. So, we'll put these guys away. Sorry, I got sidetracked by a shiny object in my drawer. So, put those away. But anyway, yeah. So we'll get to a tool stream eventually. And like I said, I will empty out these drawers, put everything on the table, and show you kind of what, you know, what does what, how everything is useful, all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that next week. Let's see. Andrew says I did manage to find a Master Grade GM Sniper 2 for my team I'm building. That didn't cost me a kidney. Still trying to find a Master Grade GM Sniper Custom that won't cost me a kidney. Tim. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, if they're out of print, yeah, there's not much you can do, right? There's not much you can do. I have one. Yeah, I got 2 GM snipers in the backlog. Those are good kits. Those are really, really good kits. I mean, those are borderline Jesta quality kits. Really, really good. Really good. So, yeah. Andrew says, I'd say Helping Hands, Tim, but they probably wouldn't work too well with a scriber. Yeah, well, that's true. All Dymo tape are belong to Tim. Nice. What's up, Bailey? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, man. So for those of you that, you know, obviously don't follow Bailey on Instagram, Bailey's back at it. Back modeling and stuff, too. Which was awesome to see your story, by the way, B. Like, I was genuinely, like, psyched. I was just like, yes! And I mean, hopefully you saw the comment. I was just like, let's fucking go! You know? So, yeah. Genuinely excited to see you modeling again, dude. It's very, very good to see. And, yeah. Get after it, dude. Get after it. Now, Bailey, like, you had mentioned something about, you know, your first stream. Are you live streaming? And if so, where? You know, because I'll jump on there and just, you know, support and everything. Like, hell yeah. So, yeah, dude, let us know if that's the case. You know what I mean? Let us know. Let's see. Gio's with us. Mr. Gio. He says, hello, Night Crew. I have a question. Okie dokie.
We have a question.
And I lowered the volume of that, by the way, just to not blow your eardrums out. He says, I've been spraying Mr. Color Gloss Top Coat, but it comes out grainy, or sometimes the parts look like they have oil. They don't look glossy. Gotcha. So that is probably one of 2 things or a combination of both. Let me explain. Before I do that, I am just so dry-mouthed right now. Much better. All right. So, with the gloss, right? 2 things. First, is the potential of you spraying it too far away, and that those glossy particles start to cure and atomize in the air before they hit the surface. That's actually a technique that I deliberately use when I go to spray semi-gloss, right? To make it a little flatter, but still kind of retain a sheen to it. But obviously for gloss, you don't want that. You want it to be glossy. So you do have to be aware of the airbrush distance in relation to the piece itself. What I would probably say 3-4 inches, rough estimation, in terms of tip of your airbrush to relation of the piece. So not far, right? Not far. You want those glossy, you know, bits, whatever, to stay wet. And you want it to hit the surface fully uncured, fully wet. Now, the other possibility or combination is that you're not spraying enough gloss onto the piece. And that is probably one of the hardest parts when it comes to getting a really nice gloss finish right, is spraying the proper amount, right? Because it's a very, very fine line between not enough and too much. There's a Goldilocks zone that is razor thin between those two. What I tend to do, what I notice when spraying a gloss and when trying to achieve a fully nice gloss is this. What will happen is you'll start to see kind of like an orange peel effect going on, right? Because what's going to happen is those little droplets of gloss are going to, you know, glob onto each other, and, you know, they're going to form, you know, their own individual little pools. But then at the proper, precise moment, everything's going to snap together and it's going to become one gloss finish across the board. And that's when you immediately pop the trigger and just be like, nope, okay, we're not going any farther. That is the proper moment to completely just stop what you're doing in your tracks. But you have to look at it in light, and you have to have a reflection on that gloss, right? That's very, very important. So once you see that kind of orange peel effect, that lumpiness in your gloss coat just start to come together and just go completely smooth, you're done. That's when you stop. So like I said, it could be either one of those or even a combination of both too. Yeah, give that a try, Gio. Test it on another piece. Get your technique down, practice, right? Because like I said, the little Goldilocks zone between too much and not enough is razor thin. And you've got to really, really, keep a close eye on, kind of how that sheen looks. That's the really important thing. Because if you spray too much, then it's just going to drip and it's going to be a mess, right? And then you're going to be, cursing my name, motherfucking Tim, goddamn piece of shit, doesn't know what he's talking about, and then you'll have to strip it. So, yeah, just be very, very attentive of that overall sheen of the piece as you're spraying. Practice. That's the biggest thing, especially when it comes to gloss coats, because those are high risk, high reward type of finish. And there's not a lot of forgiveness when it comes to a gloss coat. So, yeah, I think you're probably going to be well off if you take those two, pieces into consideration. So, yeah, practice, dude. Let us know. Post it in the community and all that, and obviously we'll help you out. So, good question. Andrew says to Bailey, there's truth to that. I had some and now I can't find it. I think Tim used a magnet to get it. What? Oh, all done. Yeah, I love my Dymo tape, man. What do you want? What do you want? It's just, it's old school, and I'm old school. You know what I mean? I can't help it. And plus, you can do things with Dymo tape that you can't do with other scribing tape. Let's be real here. Because I have, what is it? The, you know, this clear scribing tape, and which does not have a backing to it, right? But it has these those nice little, of course, it's not going to focus. Let's go camera 2 and show you. God damn it. I was trying to do that, but it didn't want to. But it's got these nice little lines on there that actually makes it, you know, very, very convenient for trying to duplicate things. Again, this is an inherited thing, but it's only good in certain situations. You can't template this type of tape. You can template Dymo. You can make templates out of this because I've done it many, many times in the past. And I'll show you a really good example of, you know, what I'm talking about here, right? So, like, you can cut these into, you know, certain, you know, custom shapes and outline scribe around this thing, right? But the thing is this has a backing to it, where the other tape does not have a backing to it. So that would mean that you'd have to stick it to something. It would lose its adhesion, and then once you stick it to the actual part, then you're suboptimal at that point. And this stuff is rigid really, really nicely. And yeah, it's just, like I said, old school, man. Old school. So, yeah. Sometimes it's the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's the best. So, anyway, where were we? Kelvin Branham is here with us. Time to say hello. Well, hello there. Hello, sir. What's going on, Kelvin? Bailey says, that's an interesting issue. Usually issues with top coat can be solved by spraying another coat under different environmental conditions, less humidity typically. Yeah, usually with frosting you find that, Bailey, but from what it sounds like, it's because I've run into that before when not laying down enough material. Because yeah, it looks oily, like it's got little droplets, like orange peel-ish, right? And yeah, sometimes parts, they look oily. Probably they don't feel oily, but they look oily, right? Yeah. And they just don't look glossy. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's, like I said, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Gio, is that one of those two things, like I said before, is going to be your, you know, main culprit, I think. So, yeah. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Bailey says, yeah, but oily is unusual. Yeah, yeah. I think it's just more of the look. Yeah. But Andrew says color layers still wet somehow and mixing, or too much thinner in the clear and causing it to mix maybe. I mean, if your paint is cured, then it shouldn't be reactivated. Because I mean, you'd basically need to be running a high concentration of thinner to gloss at that point to start to reactivate that paint. Like I said, I've seen that kind of phenomena myself, you know, when not laying down enough gloss or spraying too far away. So I'm if I was a betting man, I'd put money on that. Yeah. Gio says, I have a dedicated airbrush for top coat only. The airbrush is not used for anything else. Well, look at you, Mr. Big Spender. No, I'm joking. Billy says, yeah, what's underneath the top coat? There you go. Gio says, question of the day. Something that is really simple, making the kit fit properly. That is surprisingly not simple. I'll be honest with you, man. Fitment of these parts, especially after customizations, can be challenging. Because it can, if you modify something, it can cause a domino effect where you have to modify something else and something else and something else and so on and so forth. You got to be real careful. And then if you're building just, kind of straight out of box, even still, sometimes when you add layers of primer, paint, clear coat, weathering, what have you, yeah, it can make a huge difference. So trust me, Geo, it's not as simple as, one would think. Let's put it that way. Fitment can be challenging. Trust me on that. Julius, what's going on, Doc J? Happy Friday, everyone. Julius, welcome, bud. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Julius, I dropped your name today on the earlier stream. I don't know if you were watching, but our new friend, Eswank, he's kind of the new guy that I was talking about in the reel that I posted yesterday, evidently lives in, Riverside, California? And I told him about SCGMC and the fact that I met you at SCGMC one year and how it was just the best thing, to go to and experience and meet people and learn from and all of that. So yeah, I dropped your name earlier today and just mentioned that, I had met you there and a bunch of other people and it was just a grand time and he was super, Eastwank was super excited. So it was kind of cool. So, Mr. Mad Havoc, one set of tools are from the brand Steady, and there are a glass file collection that comes with different types. Gotcha. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, Mad Havoc got some new tools. It's always fun, man. TGIF. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. I'll tell you what, I did not sleep good last night. I was up late, per usual. Working, strategizing, tying loose ends, things like that. And yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep. So I actually took a good long nap between the daytime stream and this one. And I'll tell you what, it was needed. So this weekend will be all about catching up on some sleep. I am definitely in a sleep deficit right now. So, Zaku186, there he is, Sig Xeon. If that's your preference, sure. What's going on, dude? Bailey says, love that technique with the burrs. A whole lot more than cutting down the pegs. Oh, yeah. Well, I was just showing more for like aesthetic purposes, right? If you had a circular style feature on the surface of the thing, of the piece. But also, yeah, what you're talking about, Bailey, is far superior to cutting the pegs. And let me explain everything for you guys of what Bailey's talking about here, because this is what I do. This is what I do all the time for parts and for easy disassembly, right? So this piece right here, you just kind of saw how that comes apart, right? And I think most of it has to do with the poly cap that's in there. So yeah, so there's maybe, watch. That's easy, right? Now, under normal circumstances, you should not be able to take that apart that easily. But there's maybe a millimeter of actual gripping surface in these peg holes. And then after that, it just comes apart super easy. Now, what I do, again, with burrs and stuff like that, especially like this one, this conical burr, I will load that when I'm snap building. This is all in the snap building process. I will take this conical burr and just go in here. I've already done it with this, so I don't want to do it anymore. But usually for especially the bigger holes, 7 rotations I find is the happy medium. But again, you're going to need different sized burrs for, you know, different applications. It just worked out. So this one here, this worked in the smaller holes on the piece too. But using like the round burrs and things, you know, you kind of have this kind of acorn shaped burr. Even some of the bigger holes, you're going to need even, you know, something along this size. This is 6 millimeters wide. So, you know, this is a big boy, but that, you know, surface definitely comes in handy sometimes. And like I said, or like Bailey said, it's better than clipping the pegs at an angle. A lot of people, you know, suggest that. I'm very much against that. Just because I don't know. I think this particular technique is just so much better for being able to easily take parts, you know, apart like this. It's just, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's just better in my opinion. So, yeah, that's English. That's what Bailey is speaking of, which again, like I said, I wasn't really kind of going in that direction when I was showing the ball burr bits, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's obviously a great point. So let's go back to number 1 here. Let's see. Question of the day, Julius. He says, since I'm terrible at color coordination, designing color schemes for a kit is the most difficult challenge for me. Interesting. Bailey, or Julius, what because like this genuinely kind of piques my interest right here. What do you feel is the biggest struggle, I guess, for you when coming up with you know, color schemes and everything? Is it, you know, finding the right main color scheme, or the accent, or, you know, combinations? Like, what do you feel is kind of your biggest challenge there? Because that's, you know, obviously that's not necessarily what I would say is a common you know, challenge, but still a very credible challenge. Yeah, he says, yes, all of those. I gotcha. Interesting. Okay. Reason why I'm asking, and the reason why I'm scratching my chin and everything, is because that would make a really, really good video or guide or something like that. I mean, hell, even just a short post or, you know, a short form video or something, you know, basically trying to highlight, you know, kind of how, you know, I come up with my color schemes. One of, I think, the best folks, and probably one of the more creative folks that I've seen come up with color schemes is Zach. If you look back at a lot of his models, he has a really just original way of coming up with colors and color combinations, ones that I probably wouldn't even think of. And he's really, really good at that. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's something that potentially a lot of other people may struggle with. And it would, mind you, it wouldn't surprise me, because you see a lot of beginners, do the, black, red, white color scheme. But yeah, that's, I think that would be extremely valuable. An extremely valuable tutorial or video or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Good call there, Julius. Yeah, I'll try to brainstorm that I'll definitely brainstorm that. Bear one second. Let me put that in my notes here real quick, because I do, like I said, I'm very interested in that particular topic. So hang tight 1 second here, yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. And it really, I think, as I'm typing this and also thinking, a lot of that has to do with color theory as well, right? Colors that go together, colors that complement each other, you know, different shades of colors and things. All of that, yeah. And Julius, yeah, there you go. He says, I even tried learning about color theory, but it all went over my head. I gotcha. Yeah. And mind you, for those that are uninitiated to color theory, seeing that color, you know, that rainbow of a color wheel can be daunting, you know? And it's, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like for me, when it comes to color combinations, for me, I don't even think about color theory. Like, it doesn't even come into my mind, right? Simply because I just kind of look at what colors I personally think would look good, right? So I'll come up with a primary color, and then I'll think about, oh, well, you know, what would complement this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So that's that's a whole nother aspect, Julius. He says, and to top it off, I do have a color deficiency in my eyes with certain reds and greens. Okay. So would that be the same as color blindness? Like being, you know, because a lot of people, you know, have that. But yeah, I think that's a really, really interesting topic to kind of go into detail on, you know? Because, I mean, you look at some of the color combinations that have been not as bad as color blindness. Okay, I gotcha. Well, that's good. That's good. Okay, cool. But, you know, you look at some of the color combinations that Bandai has produced over the years, right? And, you know, some of them that come to mind are like the GM Custom, you know, in that weird mint green. The regular GM, again, with that weird kind of light mint green with red. The ground GM, that kind of cream khaki sand color and orange. And some of the other ones too. The Cublé, white, purple, pink, you know. Just some really kind of off the wall kind of color combinations. And yeah, I think that's a great topic to talk about, and one that I don't think has been talked about, I think, enough, right? In the same way as I was talking before about what was it? Brian, our good friend Lelouch. He said the other day that he changed his grip on the chisel, and it worked out really well for him, right? That I suggested kind of support the blade of it to have more control. That's something that I don't ever see mentioned. And so with something like this, you know, color combinations, coming up with colors, selecting colors, I think is a good topic. I think it's a really good topic, and one that I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of excited about. All right, I put that in my notes. Like I said, I put that in my notes. We're definitely going to do something with that, Julius. So, yeah, we're definitely going to do something with that. Cool deal. Let's see. Lorenz is with us. He says, "Evening Night Crew. Just got home from watching Backrooms, and I had a fun time. I want to see that movie so bad. I want to see that movie so bad. That looks like such a great movie. And I've seen the YouTube videos and kind of gone down the rabbit hole of the lore and everything like that. So I'm aware of kind of the backstory and everything. But man, just the movie trailer alone got me just like super hyped. I was just like, yes. So, yeah. Bailey says, "This is what I love, Tim, and honestly, seeing you get back to it was inspiring." What? Man, come on now. Come on, Bailey. I mean, just seeing everybody kind of get back to it. Like, a lot of people are getting back to the hobby after, you know, time off, right? So, yeah, I'm enthused about it. So, and the fact that it was inspiring to you, man, that makes me feel really good. It really does. Yeah. Let's see. Julius asked what Bailey's IG handle was. What is it? Kamal Zeta? Yeah, there it is. Kamal Zeta, pretty much everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. Go follow Bailey, you guys. Just Bailey's old school too. I think Bailey was probably one of, if not the first moderator for the YouTube chat here back when we started this thing in 2018. So, yeah. Yeah, Bailey's old school. He does shit right. He does shit right. And honestly, fucking genius too, because he's a teacher and all of that stuff. So, yeah, dude's smart as a whip. So, go follow Bailey, you guys. Trust me, you won't be disappointed, especially if he's doing modeling again. So, yeah. Let's see, Zaku186, really appreciate you lowering the volume on the "we have a question" thing before it was way too loud. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's one of those things. Andrew says it was blowing my eardrums out. Yeah. Let's see, Loren's question of the day, kit bashing. It's so hard to kit bash something without making it so obvious that it's from another kit. You have to modify or add more stuff to hide that, especially for really big pieces like weapons. This is a good comment. This is a good answer to this. Kit bashing is an art form. And like Loren said, making it look like it's not completely obvious that you just slapped parts together is the hardest part, right? Now, obviously, when you go to paint, you go to primer, that ties everything together. But in the building process, it's not as forgiving, right? So you look at something like, the Ozymandias, or a really good example is the remixed Zaku, right? Because this is when it comes down to it, a kit bash. And I'll kind of show you what I mean here in a second when we pull this sucker out. Here we go. This right here is a kind of a perfect example of that, right? So getting these, camera 2, dummy. Jesus. Getting these parts to fit together and look cohesive is a hard thing to do, right? Because obviously this leg is from a high mobility Zaku 2.0, where the foot is from Sananju Stein, right? And getting those to kind of fit the bill, it's not easy, right? But with a little bit of customization, a little bit of
you know, feature camouflage, if you will, it will blend in, right? And with something like this, I think it's going to be successful, right? But like I said, looking at it in raw plastic, this is not forgiving looking, you know? You know automatically that this is from a Zaku, this is from a Sinanju Stein, yeah? And so, yeah, kit bashing is another topic that I'll eventually want to cover, talk about, and all that good stuff. But yeah, this is a really good example of how kit bashing, at least in the raw form, is not easy. It's not easy, and you have to meld these pieces together to make it less obvious. You know what I mean? And like this right here, right? The waist, again, is from the Sinanju Stein, and even the ball joints and everything there too. But I was able to slot that into the Zaku 2 to make the connection there. And that all looks, you know, quite nice. And then also, as well, I used a lot of the Sinanju Stein on this. Let me just kind of piece this together to show you kind of, you know, the kit bash itself, right? And I'm not going to put the whole damn thing together, but at least, you know, give you an idea of what this sucker looked like, because I was very, very, very happy with you know, how this thing was coming out. And I'll get back to this at some point, but yeah. So there, you know, you have the waist and everything of the Sinanju Stein coupled with the leg, you know, from the, you know, high mobility Zaku 2, right? And where's the other? Here it is. Now, in addition to that, I made this little piece to go on the waist to kind of make as a buffer between the Sinanju Stein waist and the, you know, Zaku 2 high mobility upper body, right? To kind of fill in the voids around here and everything. And yeah, so that looks, do I have that on back? No, I have that on the right way. Okay, cool. But yeah, I mean, that right there is a good example of, you know, kit bashing and, you know, kind of making those pieces come together. And then on the backpack here, right? This backpack is from a Gelgoog 1.0 that I, you know, had to come up with solutions on how to get this to fit onto the back of, you know, this modified Zaku 2, right? And there we go. There it is, and it fits really, really nicely on there. Now, with this, also came with trying to fit on a bunch of other parts here. Making, let me see if I make sure it's on camera. Making sure this part here melds in. This, I think it's from a Gaplant, if I'm not mistaken. And then this, I forget what this is from. So you got that there, right? And then even on top of that, you've got these kind of tanks. And then, so there's that all kit bashed together. So, I mean, you've got, what, 3-4 kits just in, you know, the backpack assembly alone. You've got
the Gelgoog 1.0. You got this intermediate piece here from, I believe, a Gaplant, and then you got this from something else. I think this might be from the Gaplant. That I forget what it's from. Somebody will know. But regardless, I mean, you've got 3 kits here, and then on to a Master Grade Zaku, you know, High Mobility 2.0. So, I mean, you've got, like I said, 4 kits kind of coming together into one cohesive piece. So, you know, hiding that is freaking difficult. Bayerland, that's what it's from. Thank you there, Lorenz. I appreciate that, buddy. I knew somebody would know what those parts were from. I couldn't remember the name off the top of my head, but yeah, a Bayerland custom. And I actually bought 3 of those kits just because the parts are so freaking awesome. Just some of the design on that thing is great, right? And then you got that big freaking booster to boot. So, yeah, great kit bashing kit. So again, that's a topic that I already had queued up in terms of like tutorials and stuff like that. But yeah, it is not easy. It is not easy. Zaku 186, LOL, same. Yeah. Rundus. What's going on, Rundus? Good to see you, buddy. He says, question of the day, finding the courage to finally work on that kit you've been keeping in your backlog for ages. Ooh. Yeah. 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 That, I won't lie. That's, yeah. Even for me, that's a big one. That's a big one. Because, you know, you have to ask yourself, let's go back to camera 1. You know, because you have to ask yourself, and you have to be real with yourself too. Am I ready to tackle this kit? Am I ready to take on this commitment to go down this road with this kit? Right? It's almost like getting into a fucking relationship. You know what I mean? It's so weird like that because for me, as you guys can plainly see, I invest a lot of time and effort into a project, right? My heart, soul, creativity, everything goes into a project. So yes, it kind of is like starting a relationship in some ways. And having that courage to kind of, you know, I guess take on that, for lack of a better term, commitment, you know, it's a step. It's a tough step, you know, but you'll know when you're ready, you know. You'll know when you're ready to tackle that kit that, you know, has been intimidating, you know. Because trust me, there are kits that intimidate me that I don't want to get into. I'll be straight with you. I've had that damn Rick Dom up there, that 1/60th Rick Dom, for years and years and years. You guys can't see it because it gets cut off, but I've had it for years, and I've wanted to do a 1/60th scale Jupiter's Ghost. And imagine that for a second, right? Number one, a 1/60th scale Dom is going to be massive. And then a 1/60th Jupiter's Ghost? Fuck. That's a project that will take a very long time to complete. So again, man, that intimidation is, yeah, you feel that. I feel that. What's another one? Oh shit, the Deep Striker. The Sazabi Verka. Both of those. Those are big kits. And I know I'm going to spend upwards of a year or 2 on building both of them. Easy. So, yeah. Building those kits, taking on that commitment, that's a real thing. That's a real thing, dude. So, yeah. Gunpla Uruguay, I had to Google Jupiter Ghost. God damn, right? Yeah, dude. Yeah. Jupiter's Ghost. If you don't know what that is, go look it up on Google real quick. Go look at a picture. Actually, you know what? Here, I'll do it for you. And I'll show you kind of. Jupiter's Ghost. Dom. There we go. Here it is. Let me pull this up. Open image in a new tab. And let's zoom in on this guy here a bit. There we go. All right, so let's go display capture. Here we go. That, my friends, is Jupiter's Ghost. So, yeah, you can see, here's the Dom, right? The body of it. And then everything else. So you have to think about a 1/60th Dom is just going to be, you know, maybe half the size of this whole thing. And then all this other stuff. I mean, this is a mobile armor pretty much at the end of the day. But I think it looks so badass and I love it to death. And yeah, I have always wanted to have a rendition of this from the first time I saw it. And when I saw the 1/60th Dom, oh man, serendipity. Let's put it that way. Serendipity. So, yeah. Lorenz says, is that from Solomon's Express? It is. Yeah. It is. Solomon, right there. Yeah. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Yep. So, yeah, dude. That, oh man, that's a project that, you know, is intimidating. It really is. It's one of those ones that I'm not necessarily comfortable tackling at this point, you know? So, yeah, that's a real thing, dude. That's a real thing. Bailey says, preach. That's what backlogs are made of. Yeah, dude, 100%. 100%. Lorenz says, question also related to top coat.
We have a question.
So, what's causing top coat to have that frosty finish when it dries? And is there a fix for it if it already happened? Yes, and it's an easy fix, Lorenz, actually. So when you get frosting on a top coat, like Bailey had mentioned earlier, it usually has to do with like high humidity. So if you experience that frosting, you know, obviously you're going to need to wait until you can spray it in a lower humidity setting. But the real easy fix is just to spray another coat on top of it, and it'll reactivate and cause that frosting to go away. So, yeah. So, like I said, easy fix. But yeah, it has to do with humidity and like the environmental concerns, you know, when you're spraying. You know, like I said, Bailey had mentioned that a little bit earlier. So, yep. Renda says, you're scaring me and doing my Japanese lacquer wear SDEX Wing Zero EW now. Oh man. Come on now. You're good. Let's see. Matt Havoc, that's what you have to order at the end of the month. Scribing tape. I meant. There you go. Lorenz says, does Dymo tape come in larger sizes? I only have standard ones. No, I don't think that it does. I think it's just the 9mm, because this is embossing tape, right? So it goes into the Dymo machines, the embossing machines and everything. And this, the old school black, is from like the, you know, early 80s ones where it had the trigger and you would the letters would be on a dial, and you would have to dial in, whatever you had, and you'd squeeze the trigger, and it would go clunk, and emboss the letters and numbers into the actual tape. And this is becoming harder to find, unfortunately, which is a shame. But no, I think this is the only size that I'm aware of, anyways, that it comes in. Nolan's over there on Twitch. He says, old school? I'm just old. Buddy, you're only as old as you think, Nolan. Come on now. And you look good for your age. Shut up. Loren says, that would be great for doing templates. Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Matt Havoc says, sorry, my phone has been acting weird all day. No problem. Gio says, so for a glass bottle of Mr. Color Gloss, what would be a good starting thinning ratio? I would say, again, consistency of milk. That's a good starting off point. Yeah, that's a good starting off point. So, let's see. Apex Nerd's with us. What's going on, buddy? He says, good morning. Good morning, bud. Bailey says, lacquer, at least 1 to 1.5, but you can go 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Yeah. You don't want to necessarily have it too thin, but thin enough. Yeah. Andrew says, fitment is why I went to color lacquers, so I can try and keep movement in joints and not have issues with the armor fitting on the frame. Yeah. And if need be, scrape down the pegs. I do that sometimes, just for peace of mind. So, yeah. At the end of the day, you just got to make it work. So, Julie says, thanks for thinking about me. Always, buddy. Always. Michael Dawson's with us. What up, everyone? What's going on, Mikey? Matt Havoc says, the heat and humidity has been making me feel crappy all day. Yeah, dude, it's one of those. Oh, we were talking about Julius's color theory comment. Yes, to all of those. Yep, I gotcha. Andrew says, for the GM team I'm building, I've got 2 good ideas for color schemes to use. Excellent. Excellent. Loren says, adding to that, straying away from the original color scheme and making your own is a big challenge. It can be. Yeah, it can be. Anthony, what's going on, buddy? He says, hi, Tim. Hello, everyone. Anthony, how you doing, bud? How's Dad? Hopefully, he's doing better. I know I saw on a replay of George's stream that, I forget what happened, but I remember you had to, I guess, take him to the hospital or something like that. So hopefully he's doing better. Hopefully. So, 186. Okay, gotta go to bed. Good night, all. Night, buddy. Take care. Let's see. Lorenz says Zach's color schemes are always unique. They really are. He picks some unique colors, right? Nightfall. What's going on? He says, hey, Nightfall here. What's going on, buddy? Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. Anthony says, so a few years back now, a Japanese builder on X, Twitter, did a whole series on color. He used alcoholic beverage labels and did like the colors from liquor bottles for his mechs. It was pretty cool. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know who the builder is, but I know that series. Yeah, because he took like Johnny, a bottle of Johnny Walker, a bottle of Jack Daniels. I think it was what was it? It was a bottle of sake. I forget the name of it. But yeah, just same thing. Well, that was the thing, and very, very unique. Our friend Armida Tex Merquise actually did that with a bottle of Grey Goose, and she put that on a Tall Geese. So that was her. What was it? Gray Tall Goose is what she called it. So. Yeah, very, very cool project. Very, very cool project. And you can get that inspiration for those color schemes pretty much anywhere like that. And that's a great example of it, right, Anthony? So, yeah, really, really good stuff. Really good. Oh, and Julius was talking about his the color deficiency in his eyes. Yeah. Michael says, I think color theory limits your imagination. Just throw colors together and what sticks, sticks. I kind of agree with that, and that's kind of what I do, right? Um, Loren says the Bondoc, or however you pronounce it, with that pink, navy blue, and yellow. Yeah, weird, right? Um, Mikey says, but I also limit myself to realistic military vehicle colors at the same time. Well, there you go. Loren says, I'd say go ahead, Tim. It's a nice watch. It's mind-blowing how a 20-year-old directed it, and it's actually good, right? Going back to Backrooms, yeah. I want to see that movie so bad. So bad. There he is, Eastwank. Hey, how's it going? It's looking good. Thank you, buddy. We're just kind of talking, answering questions, getting caught up with the chat. These nighttime streams are always kind of more geared toward, kind of the social aspect of things. So, yeah, I was actually mentioning you, Eastwank, earlier, talking about the earlier stream and mentioning to Julius that I had mentioned SCGMC and everything. So, yeah. Andrew, he says, I'm on at least a 2-week break from building kits until my new glasses come in. Also probably just going to listen to the stream. Too much strain from my older glasses. Oh man, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Yeah. Having the wrong prescription in glasses, oof, it can cause headaches and potential nausea, shit. Oh, it's just, yeah. And it strains your eyes, so I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. Loren says the Aussie is also a really nice marriage of parts, and you'd think it's an actual Xeon suit derived from different mobile suits lore-wise. That's kind of what I tried to, accomplish, with the design of the Aussie. Let's see, Geo, these subjects that we are talking about, paints, tools, kit bashing, people have covered them in other languages, but now with you explaining it, we can follow along. See, there you go. And that's why I want to do kind of the longer form stuff too, right? And I think what I'm probably going to do, and I've been giving this a lot of thought, we've gone full bore into streaming, right? And the reason kind of why I did that was because I thought back during COVID, the time of, during COVID, streaming helped me kind of bring in money, right? But the whole streaming aspect of things is a completely different landscape now, 6 years beyond that. So what I might do is cut back just a little bit on the streams, just a little bit, and dedicate more time to longer form content, guides, short form content, things like that, to kind of make it a little bit easier for people to find and digest. You know what I mean? So I think I might do that, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like. We'll definitely keep the nighttime streams intact. Those aren't going anywhere because I really enjoy these, and I think you guys get a lot out of it too. But the daytime streams, I might dial that back a little bit. Maybe not 5 days a week, maybe 3 days a week, maybe 2 days a week for the daytime streams. I don't know. I need to think about that more, but I definitely want to allocate my resources better at this point, so I'll have to think about that. Geo says, I follow a YouTuber. His name is Genic. Very familiar. Amazing scribing work and painting. Not a single word in English, right? He uses AI audio, but it's pretty weird. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Yeah. And that's just the translation from Japanese to English. It can be, if you're not completely fluent in the nuances of it, it can be bad. So, yeah. Hopefully I can provide that link, between, folks that speak English and, the higher level topics, that we go over and stuff too. So that's the goal anyway, right? So, Loren says, yeah, you really lose context regarding what a builder is doing in a video if they speak in a different language. Yeah. He says those booster parts are, from the Brylant, like we were talking about before. Yeah. Sorvon, what's going on, buddy? He says, if I recall correctly, you had a Brylant parts on that backpack. Yeah. Yep. 100% correct. Yeah, like I said, I bought 3 copies of that kit just for kit bashing. So it's such a good one. If you need kit bash fodder, that's a good one to look at, the Briarland. Really, really good. Hey, there's Brandon. He says, hey everyone, hoping to have Zero Parts Given number 2 done this weekend. Nice. Zero Parts Given number 2. Life, yeah, like Bailey said the other day, life been lifing. Like, who said that the other day? That was Bailey. And that's just, man, it couldn't be more accurate. It could not be more accurate. Yeah. Yeah, Brandon, we can see you, buddy. You're right there. I can see you. So, yeah, you're good. We just haven't gotten down. We're midway through the comments right now, so I am behind on catching up with the chat. Julia says that build is my favorite unfinished builds that you have, Tim. Then the Gelgoog and then the Jesta. Yeah. We'll get back to the remix Zaku. But like I said, I think a couple weeks ago, it's intimidating right now for me because I don't think my skill set has gotten back to where I was at the time that I was building this thing. I look at some of the things that I did with this and I'm just like, holy shit, what the hell were you on, dude, right? So I need to get back to that level of thinking, that level of creativity and craftsmanship, and I'm just not there yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. So when I'm comfortable with it, yeah, we'll get back on that guy and get him painted and all of that good stuff. So, yep. Bailey says, appreciate the kind words, Tim. You're always and continue to be an inspiration. Aw. Buddy. Come on, B. Thank you. I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you. It really does. Really, really does. So, Brandon says, yes, I agree fully. When I pick up a model to start, it seems daunting, and I usually go buy a cheap high grade instead of committing to a bigger build. Nervous to mess up, right? Yeah, fuck, that's another one I want to add. I'm going to add that to the list. Hang on. These are great. These are great. I love the question of the day because it brings out things that and topics that I may overlook, you know what I mean, because I haven't had to deal with them in recent times, you know what I mean. So covering something like this, really, really good. Let me write this down. Hang on a second. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my notes up because this is great. This is good conversation. This is what I'm talking about. I love this. I love this. Brandon says, nervous to use a kit and mess up and having me buy another. Yeah, right? There it is, Gumbo Uruguay. I had to Google Jupiter Ghost. Goddamn. Kelvin says, Tim, I have 6 Master Grade Jestas, but wish I had collected some Master Grade Spartans. They've grown on me a bit late. eBay says, pay up, sucker. Master Grade Spartan? They don't have a Master Grade Spartan. I think are you talking about like the GM Sniper 2 or something like that, Kelvin? Because they don't have a Master Grade Spartan, to my knowledge. So, yeah. Julie says, Jupiter's Ghost would be a sick build at 1/60th scale. Yeah, that would, man, that would have to be a major, major undertaking. And that's one of those things where it's, the intimidation factor kicks in. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Whew. Boy, oh boy. Bailey says, heading out for the night, but seeing that Zaku build of yours from the stream years back gives me my question of the day answer. Knowing when you've done enough on a kit to just finish it. Ooh. And I know Bailey's probably checked out and he's already punched the clock, but damn, that's good. All right, I'm adding that to the list. God, you guys are on fire with these topics tonight, I swear. Knowing when to say when. Yeah. Good shit. Good stuff. Matt Havoc, Tim, the other day I seen on YouTube the SDF-1 from Robotech, and it was huge. Oh yeah, I mean, because you got to think that's their main flagship. That's their carrier, basically, right? And then it turns into a giant fucking robot. So yeah, that thing's massive, massive. Let's see. Nightfall says that looks cool. Yeah. The Jupiter's Ghost is so good. Nolan over there on Twitch, he says, yeah, but it's no Gundam version logic. Am I right or am I right? You're right. You're right, Nolan. Come on, buddy. The Gundam version logic. Oh, man, that was such a good project. Like I said, I'm going to have to get in touch with Josh to see... Hang on one second. Okay, cool. Hang on one second, because Renee just texted me. One second here. And nothing bad. She got home. They went to a minor league baseball game tonight for work and everything. It was like a work outing. So she just got back from that. So, but I'll call her in just a little bit. But yeah, Gundam Version Logic was a project started by our good friend Josh Dara back in the day to create the most logical Gundam version of a Gundam. And so we did this exercise on an episode of Gunpla Talk back in the day. And we came up with the most logical version of a Gundam would be a cube with a cannon on the back and some thrusters, a cannon on the front, thrusters on the back. So, yeah, that was the most logical. And we all did our take on it, and it was a good project. It was a good group project, so we might have to bring that back. Sorvan says that's practically a deep striker in itself. Yeah, dude, for real, right? That's almost like the Xeon version of a deep striker, the Jupiter's Ghost. It's fucking crazy, is what it is. It's fucking crazy. Andrew says it doesn't have any legs, right? That thing doesn't have legs. Let's see. Jantaro, what is this stream for? We build Gundam and modify Gundam and answer questions, educate, and all that good stuff, dude. So that's what we do. Welcome. Mike Dawson says, I have a 172nd GPO3 in my backlog that I'm not skilled enough for yet. Yeah, I mean, we're all there. Javier says, Solomon's Express making Sentinel and AOZ suits look tiny. For real. Jantaro, what's your favorite Verka and what Gundam or Grunt would you like to have a master grade of? That's a good question.
We have a question.
Favorite Verka? I mean, I think it's probably going to be the new. Yeah, I would go with the new Verka. Yeah. It just looks nice, and I do have one in the backlog. Obviously unbuilt, but yeah, I mean that's a good one. There is something quaint about the ball. Version Ka or version KA, Verka, whatever you want to call it. There's something very quaint about that. Sananju Stein Verka is also a very, very good one. So, yeah, I think all three of those are very, very good contenders for, you know, my favorite Verka. Now, in terms of a Gundam or Grunt that I'd like to see in a master grade. Oh man, I would actually really like to see actually an updated, like a 2.0 version of the GMC. The GMC is my favorite kind of Grunt, mass-produced Grunt suit. Second, I think, only to the Jesta, which was not a mass-produced Grunt suit, but still a Grunt suit technically. But yeah, I would like to see a 2.0 version of the GM Type C. I think that would be awesome. They could do so many variations off of that kit in terms of P-Bandai and stuff like that. That would be awesome. I would love that. Love that. Let's see. Brandon says, I've had clear coat haze when I sprayed it from too far away as well. He says, my local Target had a bunch of embossing Dymo tape clearance section. Yeah. Let's see. Andrew says, dang it, Tim, just had to get me looking at Solomon Express designs again. They're so good, man. They're so good. Brandon says, I've been trying to think of a lot to use 90s Kawasaki green and purple on. Oh boy. Think of a kit. Gotcha. He says, Tuesday, Thursday, day streams, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, night streams. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know. I'm still teetering. But yeah, he says, can anyone see me? My stream keeps jumping. Aw. Let's see. All good. Had to refresh. It kept skipping and pausing. Weird. Briggsy! What's going on, Briggsy? Sometimes streaming too many different times a day can hurt you in the long run. Someone might watch the daytime stream and not the night stream, or vice versa. Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of that because I think with our audience, it's obviously worldwide. You know, there's a lot of folks from, you know, different parts of the world, from England, from Australia, you know, some of the Asian countries as well. And hell, even here on, you know, East Coast versus West Coast, you know, that plays into scheduling and everything too. But, you know, it's not necessarily for lack of it has nothing to do with lack of success on the stream. That I'm not really worried about that too much. I do want to be able to focus more time on the long form stuff and the tutorials and you know, guides and things like that. That I think is very, very important, and I think it's going to definitely be a much bigger step to future projects that I have planned. So yeah, like I said, I want to dedicate as much time to that as possible. I think there's a ton of value in there. Like, you know, like Gio said before, you know, in terms of like the higher level concepts and, you know, techniques and things, am I the only one that speaks English to talk about these things? I don't know, but maybe. So I at very least want to get that out there, you know, into the world, and, you know, try to help people and try to educate people like we always do, you know? Yeah. Let's see. Loren says, got to get to bed. Really nice discussions and topics tonight. Had a busy week, and I'm glad I hung out and got to be a part of it all night. Lorenz, thank you, buddy. That's very kind of you to say. I really, that seriously does mean a lot. So, yeah. He's probably already gone, but hey, thank you for hanging out anyways. Let's see, Matt Havoc, I'm calling it a night as well. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Buddy, you too, man. Have a good one. Stay cool out there too, because it's hot. It's gonna be hot. It's hot, yeah. It's just warm here on the east coast of the US. And it's supposed to be a hot summer too. This super, what is it? El Nino or something like that. I forget what it's called. It's like Super El Nino that's forming is going to make it from what they're saying, a very hot summer, which is not going to be great, especially for my electrical bill. But Nightfall says, also heard your daughter graduated high school, I think. Congrats to her. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yes, she graduated a couple weeks ago, I think, at this point. And she actually has her college orientation tomorrow. So her mother is taking her to that. Yeah, she's going to be kind of going to campus, getting oriented with things, getting, a ton of information on, probably housing and classes and all that stuff. And it's very exciting for her. She's super, super jazzed about it. And she can't wait to get that next part of her life started, to, move out. Let's be real. And kind of have that freedom of being a real adult, So, yeah, she's really looking forward to that. I'm not. I'll miss her. But, you got to let the kid go. Got to cut the cord at some point. So, yeah. Runda says, remember when the Master Grade New Verka was the kit to get, and now everyone in present day is deeming it too dated? People are fickle in their opinions of things. And there is a recency bias. You know what I mean? There's a recency bias to a lot of opinions and things, right? When you've been in this hobby for 20, 25 plus years and you've seen the evolution of kits and see how far they've come, it's a little bit easier for me to say that new Verka is still a damn fine kit. You know what I mean? But I get it. It's recency bias happens on all topics in terms of opinions and stuff like that. It is what it is. So, c'est la vie. But the real grade new is really quite a stunner. I won't lie. Never built it. I don't like real grades. They're not my thing, but I've heard it's really, really a fine kit. So there's that too. Briggsy says they got a third-party ball coming out. I saw that. It's a 1/60th ball. Mind you, it's a Chinese, third-party kit, but still a 1/60th ball, and I think it's like $60 if I'm not mistaken. I know the pre-order's up on USAGs. This side, there you go. Go check them out. The pre-order is up. And also too, if you guys missed the announcement, I think several weeks ago, USA Gundam Store has changed the way that they handle pre-orders. So that's actually very important. I know that's kind of been a knock against them here. Because, when you make an order, if you ordered in stock pieces with the pre-order, those wouldn't ship until the pre-order came in, and that's just, yeah. So they improved that. They fixed that. So now if you order stuff that is in stock and a pre-order, that in-stock stuff will get shipped immediately, and then your pre-order will kind of, stick with it, stick until it comes in stock. So, they've changed that drastically, which I think is a huge, huge, huge improvement. So if you guys are not aware of that, there you go. Good info. Brandon says, found an old start of a project today. I wove together probably 10 packs of super thing, evergreen styrene strip, and it clicked with my samurai grimoire idea. Got my creative juices flowing. Oh shit, I gotta send you that part. Fuck. Sorry, Brandon. I'll get it done. That's on me. My bad. Life be lifin'. But yeah, I gotta send you that part. Son of a bitch. Sorry, dude. I feel bad. But yeah, Brandon says just lacking time and energy. Yeah, dude, with everything going on with you right now, all that stuff will be there. Focus on family. That's priority. You know what I mean? Get that shit done. And the sooner you get that done and settled and out of the way, for the most part, you'll be able to relax and spend time with the hobby. So focus on what matters, buddy. Focus on what matters. Yeah. Briggsy says, love a Leo Master Grade or a TV version of the Wing Zero. A Leo Master Grade would be fucking cool too. I didn't even think about that. That would be awesome. Leo is very underrated design. Very underrated. Love it. Andrew says, we need a new GM Type C. Immortal Fourth. Hell yeah, team. Needs to be a GM Type C to go with the Space Command type and the GM Cannon Redhead. Yeah, see, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, when I think about like grunt suits, I immediately gravitate toward the Immortal Fourth. And for those of you that don't know, the Immortal Fourth was a GM Type C unit that consisted of what's his name, Burning. And the three other guys from 0083, Montoya, fuck, I don't remember all their names, but you get the picture. It was the four of them, and they survived like this heinous battle, and the four of them came out, and that's why they were called the Immortal Fourth. And they're the lizard, the chameleon, South Burning. Thank you, Julius. I appreciate that. I knew his last name was Burning, but I couldn't remember his weird first name, South. Come on. Yeah, so that would be freaking awesome to have, you know, an Immortal Fourth updated GM Type C 2.0. Bandai, if you're watching, there you go. Kelvin says, oops, I mean Sniper 2 kits and conversion kits or scratch. Yeah, see, and that's one of the shelf queens that I have, because I was working on a GM Spartan that I was converting a GM Sniper 2 from. So yeah, it'll get there one day. Briggsy says maybe stream once a day other than the weekend. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to weigh the pros and cons and see how it shakes out, but I definitely want to alter and dial back the daytimes a little bit. So, but we'll see. Julia says, Tim, I know that times are a little hard for you at this time, but please do not give up on what you have built / created here for us in the English-speaking community. Oh, hell no. No, man. No, basically, so, Julius, this is kind of what I'm thinking is, in terms of the stream, just, cutting back a stream, maybe 2-3 streams at most during the week, and that's combination of day and night, right? So you've got 8 streams per week essentially. So dialing it back to 2 or 3, I think it's fine, and then allocating more of my resources to building a library of tutorials, guides, helpful videos, things like that, I think will benefit the community way, way more in a wider aspect of things. You know what I mean? Especially with tutorials, like longer form tutorials and things, because, yes, you guys are watching the stream, and thank you for that. I love you guys. But I also realize that, folks may not necessarily have the time to dedicate to watching or keeping up with a 2-hour plus stream every day, sometimes twice a day, right? For you guys that are always on here, whew, big time. Hey, look at that. It actually came through. XL War Daddy. What's going on, buddy? I love that fucking name. XL War Daddy. Thank you for the follow there on Twitch. I appreciate you, man. Welcome to the family. I appreciate that. No, like I was saying, Julius, like, the thing is like, I realize that my skill set is not necessarily being wasted on me, but what I'm trying to get at is like, I'm the only one that really benefits fully from it, which I think is not a good thing, right? I want to be able to pass that along, you know? I want to be able to bring up the newer folks and nurture them into being better modelers, like yourself, like Eastwank, who just literally started his journey the other day. You know, and I want to get that knowledge out there in a more easily found, searchable way that will benefit wider audiences, you know? And mind you, that's not, you know, I'm not destroying what I've built or anything like that or giving up on the stream. Far from it. Quite contrary to that, actually. Hoping that while we get a wider audience, hopefully that feeds back into the stream and builds up, you know, the community more that way too. So it's a cycle. It's a whole series that, you know, I'm kind of thinking about. So yeah, Jay, nah, we're not going to give up on anything. So I'm in this for the long haul, buddy. I'm in this for the long haul. So not to worry. Not to worry. Brandon says, don't feel bad, haven't even started. Aw, I got you. USA Gundam needs to do like Big Bad Toy Store and let you pay when the stock comes in or make it an option. I mean, yeah, fair argument. That's a fair argument. You know, and I don't think any process is perfect for everybody, both customer and store. So you have to kind of think about both sides of that. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. XL War Daddy. Fuck, I love that name. Fucking love that name. Well, again, welcome to the family. Brixie says maybe China will do a third-party Leo South, Mancha, Adele, and Bait. There you go. Thank you. Couldn't remember the Mancha, not Montoya. Mancha. Eastwing, one of us. Yeah. See, there you go. There you go. Rami, bro. What's going on, Rami? Yo, what up, Mecha? I love your channel. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Eastwing started on Wednesday. Haha, I'm new, right? Hey, welcome. You're in the right place, dude. Like I said, like I always have been saying, you're in the right place. Briggsy says maybe once or twice a week you can make videos like the days you don't double stream. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I'm thinking is like allocate better resources to those types of things, which I haven't been able to do, you know? Especially on the double stream days. It's tough. Because even though, yeah, I have technically 8 hours between the two streams, there's, you know, kind of always stuff to do after I go off air, right? And I'm usually here for like another hour and a half. And then making dinner for me and Amber, getting ready for the stream, which is probably a half hour before, you know, we technically go on air. There's a lot of other moving pieces to that, you know, unfortunately you guys don't see. But yeah, I think reallocating some of my resources to the longer form stuff will be able to help, you know, get all of that back out there to people. So yeah. Let's see. Brian, what's going on, Brian? He says, hello, I made it last minute. What's going on, dude? XL War Daddy, hello from Utah. What's going on, dude? Nice. Checking in from the great state of Utah. Nice. Well, again, buddy, welcome to the family. Fucking love your name, by the way. So, good stuff there. Let's see, Brian, is that a giant airdrop sticker in the back? Oh! No. Hang on, I'll show you. That's actually a print. It's now, mind you, it is the sticker that USA Gundam Store produced. Yeah, that's the one that our good friend Terry T created. Try to get the glare off of that, but yeah, that he sent me the file for this so that I could put this on prints and other things. So he gave me permission to do that. So yeah, that is probably one of my favorite pieces of artwork ever. It's very, very special to me. And the fact that USA, number one, that USA Gundam Store thought enough to have it commissioned to Terry was just absolutely humbling. You know, that Adam thought enough of me to do that, I thought was really, really cool. And yeah, very special. Very, very special. So, anywho, let's see real quick. Last few here, and then I think we're going to punch the clock for tonight, you kids. Briggsy says, even with 8 hours, sometimes you need breaks from time to time. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then obviously too, I think with the streaming thing, I also want to every now and then do kind of those marathon streams, Briggsy. You know, like those, 4, 6, 8 hour long streams. And that would be more of I think a Twitch focused, type of endeavor, but those just sound really fun and cool, and who knows what can come of it, right? Give it a shot at least. But Eastwink, whoa, that's so fucking nice, right? Well, that once we get the shop back up and going, which I'm getting the samples of the shirt and hoodie next week, I will definitely, that'll be part of the shop, those prints in many sizes too. That's obviously a 24 by 36 poster size print, but we'll have smaller prints of it as well. So yeah, and very good print too, by the way, very high quality. I love it. Lelouch says, I have that sticker slapped onto my 3000 GT. What? Dude, for real? That's cool, man. That's so fucking cool. Brandon says, night everyone, crashing hard. Yeah, that's not surprising, Brandon. Take care, buddy. Take care of yourself. You get some rest this week, bud. Let's see. Last thing, have you had any other thoughts about streaming on TikTok might help you grow faster? Yeah, TikTok. My main challenge with TikTok, streaming. My main challenge with streaming on TikTok, and it's not really a challenge, it's more just something that is just an added layer of things, is that number one, with live streaming on TikTok, if I'm multi-streaming, mind you, this is the challenge, because obviously you can just stream from the app and be done with it, but in terms of multi-streaming, there's a lot of moving parts to that, because you got to get a stream key from some third-party company. You have to have your stream in a vertical orientation, so that means adding the vertical ATEM plugin, and basically doubling, the efforts of all of that, and then it just adds another layer to the chat as well. So there's a lot of moving components to that. And mind you, I'm not opposed to it in any way, shape, or form. It's just a hurdle that I haven't had a chance to jump so far yet. So yeah, that would, I think that's basically kind of where we are with streaming on Twitch. I just haven't had a chance to dedicate resources to it. You know what I mean? So it'll happen. It'll happen. Let's see. Lelouch says 4-hour stream would be nice. Starter, first 2 hours would be a nice casual build and conversation time. Last 2 would be a muted time for you to build nonstop. Oh man, that would be interesting, right? That'd be kind of cool. I won't lie. That'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. I feel bad. I would feel bad not checking in with the chat though, if I'm really kind of thinking about it. I'd feel bad. I'd feel like a miser, like just sitting here, just building along, you know? I don't know. I'd have to check in with the chat at least a few times. So, but anyway. All right, kids, we're punching the clock. It's 12:10. So we went over yesterday about an hour. So yeah, I think we're gonna call it quits here. So with that being said, you guys have a wonderful weekend. We're gonna get started back here on Monday. Next week I'm taking off on Friday because Renee's coming into town on Friday. So that's going to be really cool. So yeah, so Friday next week will be a short week, 4 days of streaming instead of 5. So that'll be a lot of fun. Come on back. I'm gonna work on this thing this weekend. Try to get some things. Trying to get the jump on some things, and then that way next week we can just duplicate parts and kind of hit the ground running. So we'll get back after it next week. But yeah, man, conversation tonight was on point. Loved every second of it. You guys, this question of the day, man, is so valuable, I think. And yeah, it was a good addition. Really a good addition. So, all right, you guys. With that being said, have a great rest of your weekend. Go build something cool this weekend. Start a new project. Jump into the deep end. All of that good stuff. But be safe out there. Yeah, and stay cool if it's hot where you are. I know it is here. So anyway, all right, you guys. Here come the end credits. I'll see you on Monday. Take care.